Monica, before we talk Knicks, like we're entering the last week of the regular season, and this is like Adam Silver's total dream. Like if David Stern wanted the dynasties, Adam Silver wants the NFL like parity. And you've got so many teams in that 42 to 47 win range. We got a big game coming up. I think it's tomorrow, Lakers and Warriors, where LeBron sat last night with flu-like symptoms, and he was tweeting about the women's game with the flu. And then Steph sat last night. Just an interesting sort of thing that we like to point out here on the Good Word sometimes, Monica. But I want to point out the Clips and the Cavs, because the Cavs could wind up facing the Knicks again in another first round matchup that I don't think necessarily either team really wants. Paul George was 23 in the fourth quarter, hit the game winner over Evan Mobley, and I've been a king of Evan Mobley hive over here. And I'm starting to begin, maybe I should sell some of my stock because he's more slim Duncan than Tim Duncan. I thought he was going to put on some weight. He has not. But how do you view Cleveland so far? Because Donovan has not looked like himself since coming back. Darius Garland, they're a different team than last year, but it's still a lot of skinny dudes and a few more thicker dudes. Is that the best way to put it?
I'm giggling at the way you put it, though, but it's a great way to put it. So there's an impact that last year's playoff series made on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I know I was there for ESPN earlier in the season, and the Knicks series came up. I've been there with the Knicks, and the Knicks series comes up in terms of the physicality and the predictability, or the lack of physicality and the predictability of their offense last year in that postseason run. I don't know what to make of this team if Donovan Mitchell is not healthy. That's where I'm a little bit stuck.
I know what to make of them. They're going home. And quickly.
Okay, yes, right? That's probably the answer. But even in terms of the execution, I think Isaac Okoro has had a solid year. Darius Garland, to me, is... And listen, I work for the Knicks. What am I to say about a ball-dominant guard, right? Like, that's what Jalen Brunson has to be for this team. But there's a different motor between Darius, in my mind, and Donovan when you look at the two of them. And then the backside, as formidable as Jared Allen is, to me, Evan Mobley kind of comes in waves. When he runs up against a big that has the size, like you said, a Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't know that he looks to exploit his quickness the way that you might expect. I think he gets a little bit stunted by the physicality. I know that this team in December, when they were on that run, while they had injuries, they wanted to play fast. There was a lot of praise around Donovan Mitchell, and even a little bit of buzz internally about him playing like an MVP because his assists were up. He was efficient. He had such a great command of this team. They were really pumped about the addition of Max Strus, too, which to me is probably underrated in terms of moves this offseason, because I think Max Strus is a guy with that stuff. Like, he's got the grit of it all. But then it just comes down to personnel in totality. And I just don't trust the overall makeup if Donovan Mitchell is not available.
Look, this is the thing that gets me about Cleveland. They had that 18-1 stretch.
Yep.
Post or around that 18-1 stretch, they're a below 500 team. And all the pieces matter, all the games matter, so you can't isolate one thing. But they're minus 500 team outside of that.
But then, do you think that is as much about them and the Eastern Conference? Because it's tight. It's tight. The Knicks are flirting with a 500 team without OG Anunoby and Julius Randle in that last month.
Hey, we're gonna get to some of those numbers with OG Anunoby when we talk about the Knicks. Because baby, if they got a chance, they got a chance because it's him. But I think that 18-1 stretch, it was they played a lot more conventional because Mobley was out during that too. So you played one traditional big on the floor. You, like you said, you brought out Strus. You played, what's the kid's name? Georges Niang. You played him a lot. So you had the floor spread. You had one big. You had Donovan Abel. And like you said, you're playing faster now because you've got two bigs and two small guards. The composition makes you play a lot different. And Garland is not a Donovan Mitchell with the ball. He's not even a physical force. Like you talked about Jalen Brunson. Jalen can give you his shoulder and you're going to bounce off of that shoulder. Darius Garland ain't giving you no shoulder.
Speed.
And hopefully there's the space. You know what I mean? So it's a weird Eastern Conference. It's a weird season. Like, I'm hoping for a compelling Eastern Conference playoffs, but my black behind is going to be out west. like this is I will be in a different time zone. I don't come back east until the finals, unless the bosses just say, "Hey, you come back east because it's something more compelling."